Hello, my name is Erica Howard, and I am a graduate student at the University of North Texas at Dallas. And I am currently taking an appraisal class while being a grad student in counseling. And I actually was asked to do a video on behalf of the assessment that I chose. Um, and that assessment is called the Child Behavior Checklist that was actually developed by Achenbach, um, and that actually a SIBA as well. And a little bit about the assessment. Um, Basically, there are a lot of different assessments and manuals that can help or inhibit, you know, further assess different issues within a child's behavior and emotional as well. Um, One of those assessments is the child behavior checklist, um, such as if there are, for instance, if there are issues within that child that need to be further addressed, that child will then be assessed either by someone close, maybe a guardian or a parent or a close person within that child's life that can actually assess. Um, I wrote about several things in my paper. A few of those are the age, gender, and race and ethnicity. Within the child behavior checklist, there are several ways that you can assess. That is on a multicultural level. That is also uh, within girls or boys between the ages of 8 and 18 years old. Um, as I stated earlier, these children are, well, within the assessment, it asks certain questions such as behavior, emotional issues that might arise within the child's life that might actually hinder their development just in general. And so, as I stated before, prior, this assessment basically helps justify those issues and help them. Um, Additional information. Um, it also assesses different sleep problems. As far as administering the assessment, it's also important to not mention that it is a test because sometimes these children or youth will become a little, I guess, anxious or nervous because the whole concept of a test might kind of keep them or hinder them from particularly taking the assessment the way that in order to basically assess in a very positive way. So it's very important to not mention that it's a test, that is not a test, and to justify that it's an assessment. Um, there is a certain thing called a total competence score, and that basically summarizes the different activities and other issues that might actually hinder that child. There are certain other things that can be addressed. There is another assessment within the child behavior checklist that is called the Berry, and as well as a TRS that also addresses different issues within the assessment. It usually takes about 5 to 15 minutes to assess an individual, depending on their ability to actually be assessed. It is also important to always be available when assessing this child because there are multicultural issues or competencies that might actually hinder the assessment and hurt them, not necessarily hurt them, but actually hinder the assessment and not be able to justify the correct scores. Um, there is a TRF problem scores as well. It states that the problem scales if data are missing from more than 1 8 items. YSR basically is a different other that has something to do with the child behavior checklist. That, as I stated above, stated prior to actually mentioning the different types of scoring, child behavior checklist is basically for boys and girls that are dealing with emotional um, uh, behavioral issues, and certain questions that they ask could be how do you handle certain situations in a school setting, bullying. It even asks questions about sexual issues that that child or adolescent might experience. Personally, I chose this just because I work with a lot of youth, and the child behavior checklist actually will be something that I will develop a little bit more understanding as far as scoring and assessment of how to basically assess different issues within children and adolescents. And so I definitely hope that you enjoyed my video, and I provided a lot of information about this assessment. And definitely thank you. Bye.